Elena Carter runs a small bakery in Brooklyn that appears calm and ordinary from the outside, filled with warm light, fresh bread, and the steady rhythm of customers beginning their day. Yet beneath this peaceful surface exists a history she has worked for years to erase completely. She is a single mother raising her 5-year-old daughter, Lily Carter, in strict isolation from any part of her former life. No records connect her to her past identity. No known contacts remain active, and every choice she makes is focused on staying visible to a world she once belonged to. Her daily routine is carefully controlled. Before opening the bakery each morning, she scans the street with quiet caution, observing every movement outside. She avoids unnecessary attention, keeps conversations brief, and reacts instinctively to unfamiliar luxury cars or men dressed too sharply for the neighborhood. Lily lives in innocence, unaware of the weight her mother carries. She moves freely through the bakery space, laughing, drawing, and speaking without fear. To her, the bakery is simply home, a place filled with warmth and safety. Elena, however, has built her entire existence around survival. She never speaks of her past, avoids emotional attachments, and has cut off every connection that could lead back to the life she escaped. Even memories are treated as threats she cannot afford to revisit. Despite her controlled appearance, fear is never far from her thoughts. It appears in subtle reactions: a pause when footsteps sound unfamiliar, a tightening in her chest when the street outside grows too quiet, or an instinctive alertness whenever a car slows near the bakery. That morning begins like any other. Sunlight enters through the front windows, illuminating clean counters and the comforting odor of baked goods being prepared for the day. Customers arrive gradually, and everything seems stable on the surface. But as time passes, something about the atmosphere outside begins to feel different. The street becomes unusually quiet, lacking its usual movement and noise. The change is subtle but noticeable enough to disturb Elena's focus. Her attention drifts toward the window more frequently. Each passing second seems heavier than the last. The silence outside feels controlled, almost intentional, as if the environment itself has shifted into stillness for a reason she cannot yet understand. Then she notices a black luxury car positioned across the street. It does not move like other vehicles. It remains steady, its presence too deliberate to be accidental. Elena feels a sudden tightening in her chest, though she cannot explain why. There is no visible threat, no direct action, only presence. Yet it is enough to make her instincts sharpen immediately. Inside the car sits a man watching the bakery in complete silence. Vincent Moretti, someone from a past she believed was permanently buried. Everything she built her life around begins to feel fragile in that moment, though nothing has physically changed yet. The bakery remains warm, bright, and unchanged, but Elena's perception of it no longer feels the same. Vincent Moretti enters the bakery with calm authority, and the entire emotional atmosphere shifts the moment he crosses the threshold. His presence is controlled, silent, and deliberate, as if he does not need to announce himself for people to feel his weight in the room. He does not speak immediately. Instead, he observes. His eyes move slowly across the space, taking in every detail with precision, from the layout of the counter to the rhythm of the environment. Nothing about his expression reveals urgency, but everything about him signals control. Elena freezes the moment she recognizes him. Her body reacts before her mind can fully process what she is seeing. Fear, shock, and disbelief collide inside her in a way she has not felt in years. For a brief moment, she forgets how to breathe normally. Lily continues playing near the counter, completely unaware of the shift in energy around her. She hums softly to herself, focused on innocent activity that contrasts sharply with the tension building in the room. Vincent's attention slowly moves again, this time landing on Lily. His gaze lingers slightly longer than expected, though his expression remains restrained. Something subtle changes in his eyes, but he does not react outwardly. Elena notices that shift immediately, without thinking. She moves closer to her daughter, positioning herself between Lily and Vincent. The movement is instinctive, protective, and immediate. Vincent observes this reaction carefully. It is not just the action he registers, but the emotion behind it. He begins recalibrating his understanding of the situation based on Elena's behavior. He finally speaks, asking calm, indirect questions about the bakery and Elena's life. His tone is controlled, not aggressive, but layered with quiet observation. Every question feels intentional rather than casual. Elena responds carefully, choosing her words with precision. She avoids anything that could connect her to her past identity. However, despite her control, subtle signs of nervousness begin to appear in her posture, her pauses, and the way she avoids direct eye contact. Vincent starts noticing inconsistencies in her responses. They are not strong enough to confirm anything yet, but they are enough to raise suspicion. He does not confront her directly, instead storing each detail mentally. The bakery, which moments ago felt normal and peaceful, now feels emotionally suffocating. Nothing has changed physically, but everything has changed in perception. Lily unknowingly walks closer to Vincent at one point, curious and unafraid. That innocent movement increases the emotional tension further, though she does not understand why. Vincent watches her again, longer this time, as if searching for recognition in something he cannot fully explain. His focus shifts between Elena and the child repeatedly. Elena begins to understand something she cannot yet fully accept. This is not a random visit. Something about this encounter is connected to her past in a way she can no longer avoid. Vincent's gaze remains fixed on Lily for a final moment before he finally asks a question that changes the entire emotional balance of the room. How old is she? Vincent Moretti's question lingers in the air with unsettling weight, forcing Elena into a moment of immediate emotional pressure. There is no threat in his voice, no visible aggression, yet the simplicity of the question makes it feel more dangerous than anything said before. Elena answers quickly, carefully stating Lily's age while controlling her tone as much as possible. Her response is precise, measured, and deliberately incomplete, designed to reveal nothing beyond what is necessary. Vincent does not react outwardly to the answer. Instead, he becomes quieter. His focus sharpens, shifting from general observation to detailed study. His eyes begin following Lily more intentionally, analyzing her movements, expressions, and behavior with increasing depth. Elena senses a change immediately. Something in the room has shifted from uncertainty to evaluation. Her instincts tighten as she realizes this is no longer a casual encounter. She attempts to redirect the conversation, bringing it back toward the bakery, the products, and general business topics. Her goal is to regain control of the situation by shifting Vincent's attention away from Lily. Vincent listens to her words, but his engagement changes. He responds less to what is being said and more to what he is observing. His attention remains divided, but Lily now holds a significant portion of it. Lily continues playing freely near the counter, completely unaware that she has become the center of an emotional and psychological turning point. Her innocence contrasts sharply with the tension building in the room. Vincent begins forming internal patterns based on what he sees. He processes Elena's reactions, the child's age, and subtle behavioral similarities that he cannot ignore. Each observation builds on the next, creating a growing sense of recognition that he cannot yet fully explain. Elena notices his focus deepening. Her discomfort increases, and her communication becomes more defensive. She begins choosing words more carefully, but the effort itself adds to the tension rather than reducing it. The bakery remains visually unchanged, bright, calm, and orderly, but emotionally it feels heavier, as if the atmosphere itself is becoming compressed by unspoken realization. Vincent steps slightly closer to the counter, positioning himself where he can observe Lily more clearly. His movement is slow and controlled, showing no aggression, but removes distance that Elena desperately wants to maintain. Elena feels trapped between maintaining control and preventing exposure. Every attempt to steer the conversation feels increasingly ineffective. She begins to understand that additional lies will not protect her for long. Vincent's internal state shifts further. Curiosity, once subtle, now moves toward certainty. He is no longer simply observing. He is connecting fragments of a truth that is beginning to form clearly in his mind. The emotional tension reaches a point where silence becomes more revealing than words. Elena can feel the moment approaching, where everything she has hidden may collapse. Vincent's gaze settles on Lily for a final moment before he speaks again, quieter than before, as if confirming something he no longer doubts. She looks exactly like someone I used to know. Vincent Moretti's quiet statement settles into the bakery, like a weight that cannot be removed. Elena does not respond immediately. Her silence is not empty. It is heavy, controlled, and filled with fear she is struggling to contain. Vincent does not press for an answer. Instead, his attention returns fully to Lily, but something inside him has shifted. His observation is no longer detached. It is now layered with emotion he is not openly acknowledging. Fragments of his past begin to surface without warning. Images he thought were buried return in broken flashes. Moments of trust, moments of distance, and a sharp memory of betrayal that never found closure. Nothing is fully clear, but nothing feels random anymore either. He does not accept the connection yet, but he cannot dismiss it either. Elena senses the change immediately. Her internal alarm rises as she notices Vincent's attention growing heavier, more focused, and less neutral than before. Her control begins to weaken under pressure she cannot name. Vincent's outward behavior remains calm. He does not raise his voice or change his posture dramatically, but his eyes now carry deeper intensity, as if every detail in front of him is being reevaluated through a different lens. The bakery, once warm and open, begins to feel smaller. The space between people seems reduced, even though nothing physically changes. Emotional pressure replaces physical distance. Lily continues behaving naturally, unaware of the tension surrounding her. She moves, plays, and explores with innocent confidence, completely detached from the silent storm forming around her presence. That innocence has an unexpected effect on Vincent. It intensifies his internal conflict rather than calming it. Something about her behavior feels too familiar, too aligned with memories he cannot fully reconstruct. Elena considers ending the encounter immediately. The idea of taking Lily and leaving crosses her mind more than once. But each time she moves toward action, hesitation holds her in place. Something about Vincent's presence makes escape feel uncertain rather than safe. Vincent breaks the silence again with another indirect question. His tone remains controlled, but his intent is sharper now. He is no longer testing the environment. He is testing her. Elena answers, but her responses begin to lose consistency under pressure. Small pauses, slight changes in tone, and avoided details begin to accumulate. Each inconsistency feeds Vincent's growing internal certainty. He does not confront her yet. Instead, he continues observing, analyzing, and connecting invisible threads only he seems aware of. Inside him, conclusions begin forming, but they are still resisted. He is standing at the edge of recognition, refusing to step fully into it without absolute confirmation. Elena, on the other hand, is running out of control options. The situation is no longer something she can redirect or contain. It is evolving beyond her ability to manage. The bakery remains visually unchanged, but emotionally it has transformed completely. Every sound feels sharper, every movement more significant, every silence more dangerous. Vincent's gaze shifts once more toward Lily, lingering slightly longer than before, as if waiting for something he has not yet fully admitted to himself. And then it happens, something small, innocent, and completely unintentional. Lily looks up from her drawing, smiles naturally, and calls out to Elena with complete comfort and familiarity. "Mommy." One simple word cuts through the bakery's fragile normalcy and turns suspicion into certainty inside Vincent Moretti's mind. He does not react outwardly, but something inside him locks into place, as if a hidden pattern has finally completed itself. Elena hears it too. The moment Lily says "Mommy," she realizes a mistake instantly. Her entire body stiffens, and her instincts scream at her to correct it, to redirect it, to erase what has just been exposed. But it is already too late. Lily, unaware of the shift she has caused, continues behaving normally. She returns to her drawing, humming softly to herself, completely untouched by the emotional storm forming around her. Vincent remains still. His expression does not change, but his focus sharpens into something deeper, quieter, and far more dangerous than before. He is no longer guessing. He is analyzing. Every detail he observed before now reorganizes itself in his mind. The timing, the age alignment, the protective movements, the emotional reactions, all of it begins forming a pattern he can no longer dismiss as coincidence. Elena senses the shift immediately. Vincent is no longer searching for answers. He is confirming them. Her chest tightens as she realizes she has lost control of the narrative completely. She instinctively moves closer to Lily, positioning herself between Vincent and her daughter. It is not aggressive, but it is protective, almost instinctive, a mother shielding what matters most. Vincent notices this movement without effort. His gaze tracks her position, not with hostility, but with certainty that continues to build with every passing second. Elena tries to speak, to redirect the situation, to anchor it back into something manageable. But her words come out more guarded now, less natural, more forced. Each sentence adds weight to what Vincent is already beginning to understand. The bakery, once bright and peaceful, now feels compressed. The air itself seems heavier, as if the space is shrinking around them. Every sound feels amplified. The ticking of a clock, the rustle of paper, the soft movement of a child unaware of danger. Vincent takes a small step forward again. Not aggressive, not rushed, just inevitable. His presence now carries the quiet certainty of someone who has stopped questioning and started concluding. Elena feels her options narrowing with every second. Denial is no longer effective. Distance is no longer enough. Control is slipping from her hands in real time. Vincent finally breaks the silence, not with emotion, but with recognition. His voice is low, steady, and grounded in something that feels final. He is no longer searching for truth. He is acknowledging it. The tension between them reaches a breaking point where silence itself feels unstable. Even Lily seems to pause for a brief moment, sensing the shift in energy without understanding it. Elena's grip tightens slightly as she prepares for what she has been avoiding since the moment Vincent walked in. Vincent's eyes remain fixed, calm but absolute, as if every unanswered question has now found its answer in front of him. And then he speaks again, each word carrying the weight of certainty he can no longer suppress. She just called you what no stranger should ever be called. The most dangerous truth is not the one revealed loudly, but the one that becomes impossible to ignore once it finally takes shape in the mind. Vincent Moretti stands in the bakery, perfectly still, as the realization sharpens behind his controlled expression. Nothing about his posture changes, yet the emotional shift inside him is undeniable. He is no longer observing a stranger's child. He is calculating something far more personal. Elena feels it immediately. The air between them tightens in a way that has nothing to do with space and everything to do with understanding. Panic begins building quietly inside her chest, pressing against her ribs with increasing pressure. Vincent no longer treats the situation as coincidence. Every fragment of logic he previously held as uncertainty is now being reconsidered under a single possibility he cannot dismiss anymore. Fatherhood. The word does not leave his lips, but begins forming in his silence. Lily continues behaving naturally, unaware of the emotional collapse unfolding around her. She plays near the counter, occasionally humming, her innocence acting as an unintentional anchor that keeps Vincent from fully breaking his composure. Elena watches both of them at once. Her instincts pull her in two directions, denial and survival. Denial tells her to shut this down, to redirect, to protect the fragile structure she built. Survival tells her it is already too late for that. Vincent's gaze shifts more precisely now. He is no longer scanning. He is confirming. Each detail he notices now carries weight. Timing, age, resemblance patterns, emotional responses, protective instinct in Elena's body language. He begins asking more controlled questions, each one narrowing Elena's space for avoidance. His tone remains calm, but every question feels like a closed door she can no longer walk around. Elena tries to answer carefully, but her responses become shorter, less stable. The effort to maintain her constructed identity is starting to fail under pressure. The bakery itself feels different now. No longer a safe, ordinary space, but something suspended in emotional tension. Even the soft daylight through the windows feels distant, as if it belongs to another world entirely. Vincent's silence grows heavier than any spoken word. It fills gaps in conversation, stretches between glances, and presses against Elena's thoughts until she can barely think clearly. For the first time, Vincent is not reacting as a visitor. He is reacting as someone whose life story may have just been interrupted by an undeniable possibility. Elena understands with painful clarity that avoidance is no longer an option. Every second that passes brings him closer to a conclusion she can no longer control. Vincent takes a slow breath, steady but charged with restrained emotion. His eyes remain locked on Lily, then briefly shift back to Elena, as if aligning two truths he can no longer keep separate. The question forming inside him is no longer theoretical. It is unavoidable. And when he finally speaks, his voice is calm, but everything beneath it has already changed. Is she mine? A single truth, once spoken, has the power to destroy years of carefully maintained silence, and Elena Carter feels that weight before she even opens her mouth. Vincent Moretti does not repeat the question. He does not push forward or raise his voice. He simply waits, standing still in a way that feels more controlled than any movement could be. His certainty is already present, even before confirmation arrives. Elena understands that hesitation will not save her. It will only delay the inevitable. Every instinct tells her to protect herself, to soften the truth, to fragment it into something survivable. So she begins. Her words come carefully at first, shaped to avoid full exposure. She does not confirm everything. She does not admit everything. Instead, she builds a partial truth, one shaped by fear, survival, and years of silence. Vincent listens without interruption. His face remains composed, but his attention sharpens with every sentence. He is not reacting outwardly, but internally. Each word lands like a structural shift in everything he believed was stable. Elena's voice trembles more as she continues. The act of speaking itself becomes heavier, as if each sentence pulls something deeper out of her that she has kept buried for years. Vincent remains still, but something inside him is no longer still at all. Anger begins forming quietly beneath his control. Not explosive, not immediate, but deep and disorienting. The kind of anger that does not demand expression, yet changes perception entirely. Elena feels it even if he does not show it. His silence is no longer neutral. It is processing. It is recalculating. It is restructuring identity, memory, and responsibility all at once. Lily continues playing nearby, unaware of the emotional collapse unfolding in layers around her. Her laughter contrasts painfully with the silence between the adults, making the situation feel even more unreal. Elena's fear intensifies as she realizes the truth is no longer something she controls. It is now something Vincent is absorbing in real time, piece by piece, without resistance. Vincent begins to accept what she is not fully saying, but clearly implying. The reality of fatherhood is no longer distant. It is present, undeniable, and sitting directly in front of him in the form of a child who moves, speaks, and exists. But acceptance does not bring peace. It brings conflict. His calm exterior tightens slightly, as if every controlled emotion inside him is being carefully contained behind locked restraint. He is not breaking, but he is recalibrating everything he thought he understood about the past. Elena realizes something irreversible in that moment. There is no version of escape left, no version of denial strong enough to undo what has already been acknowledged silently between them. Vincent takes a slow breath, his gaze fixed now not on Elena alone, but on the child whose existence has rewritten his entire reality. When he finally speaks, his voice carries no anger yet, but it carries something far more final, something that confirms everything has already changed. You didn't leave me. You hid my daughter from me. The Mafia boss does not lose control in the moment truth finally settles into place. Instead, something far more dangerous happens. He gains clarity about something he never expected to possess. Silence fills the bakery after his words land. Vincent Moretti stands still, not reacting with anger or shock, but with a deep internal shift that moves from emotional rupture toward responsibility. The world he understood moments ago no longer exists in the same form. Elena watches him carefully, bracing for consequences she knows are inevitable. Her entire body remains tense, prepared for escalation, prepared for collapse, prepared for whatever version of destruction follows truth. But Vincent does not move toward violence. He does not raise his voice. Instead, something inside him stabilizes in a way that feels more grounded than anything he has shown since entering the bakery. His attention slowly shifts again toward Lily. The child's presence changes everything without her even realizing it. Every small movement she makes, every innocent action, pulls his focus away from conflict and into something deeper and irreversible. Elena notices it immediately. The anger she expected is not what is forming. Something else is building in its place. Something more permanent than emotion, more structure than reaction. Responsibility. Vincent begins to accept that connection is no longer theoretical. It is real. It is standing in front of him, alive, unaware, and completely unprotected by the distance of years or silence. Elena feels the weight of this realization pressed down on her. Life will not return to what it was before. There will be no restoration of normalcy, no return to safety through secrecy. Everything has shifted into a permanent state of consequence. Vincent remains quiet, but his silence is no longer uncertain. It is defined. He is no longer questioning what is real. He is deciding what it means. The bakery itself feels different now, as if it has become a physical boundary between the past and everything that will follow. What once was a place of escape has transformed into a point of irreversible truth. Elena sees it in his posture, in the way his focus no longer wavers. He is not leaving this moment behind. He is carrying it forward into everything that comes next. Vincent takes a slow breath, and when he speaks again, there is no hesitation in his voice. No conflict between emotion and understanding. Only conclusion. He has moved beyond discovery. He has moved into ownership of reality itself. Elena's final hope of containment dissolves completely as she understands that nothing about the situation can be undone or contained again. Vincent's eyes remain fixed, steady, and fully aware of what this means going forward. And then he speaks the words that seal the transformation completely. From this moment, she is no longer just your secret.